Hello and welcome back to the Without the Bank podcast. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. If you guys would be so kind as to leave a review, leave a 5-star rating, that would be fantastic. And share this. Please share the concept. And what I am going to talk about today is very much in line with why we don't share these things, why we are not talking to people about it, because we kind of get slapped on the head sometimes. What I am saying is that, we have this big bad world of social media, and those of you that know who I am, and you've most likely found me on social media, I love it. I love it. There are good, there are bad, but you know what? There are good and bad of everything. And people like to beat up social media because there's so much bad. Well, we have to discern the good from the bad. We have to use our brains and go, oh, you know what? I might have to do a little bit of research on that instead of just jumping in and believing the very first thing that we hear. Because guess what? When you guys are out there and you are listening to all this stuff on social media, and then you come to me and say, you know what, Mary Jo, that doesn't make sense. Or why did this person say that? I absolutely love it because that means that you're doing your research. I don't care if you're going to ask me questions. That's not challenging what I believe. It's informing yourself that you are making the right decision. So let's talk about what's out there on the big bad world of social media. This is what I have been seeing lately. Okay. Lots and lots and lots of indexed universal life. Not so much universal life and variable life, but indexed life because they think they can get a better rate of return. Now, I did a podcast a little while back about whole life versus VULs, universal life, indexed UL, variable, like I said, premium, flexible paying. It doesn't really matter. They all kind of fall into the same area. Indexed, though, is so complicated that it kind of has its own arena because it's not reflective. It's not tied to the market, but it's reflective of the market. So here's what's happening. And let's just do a little history lesson because I think that this is super, super important. So many people are saying we can use cash value life insurance. We can use universal life. We can use the likes of indexed, whatever. And whole life is too expensive. That's what they're saying. But those of you that are here listening because of the infinite banking concept, for those of you watching on YouTube, you see this. For those of you you don't see this, but I'm holding up Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker. So let me tell you about a video that I came across on TikTok. And the young lady says, what is the difference between become your own banker and the infinite banking concept? Thank you for asking. Let me tell you. She said, become your own banker means that you buy an indexed universal life and you borrow against the cash value. You buy a universal life and you borrow against the cash value. The infinite banking concept means that you buy a whole life insurance policy, you take it to the bank and you make it collateral to a bank loan. And of course, for those of you that understand TikTok, I had to stitch that. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is how bad this is, you guys. Become your own banker. That's the name of the book. At the very bottom of the book, it says, unlock the infinite banking concept. They are one in the same. The reason that all of these people are talking about using cash value of life insurance is because of this man, R. Nelson Nash, that wrote the book Becoming Your Own Banker and developed the concept of the infinite banking concept. That is why we are all here. If you are listening to this because you want to be educated on it, it is because somebody either myself or another agent has said cash value whole life insurance or cash value insurance is a great place to put money so you can use it to buy things and finance things. There is another misconception, and I see this all the time on social media. People will comment on my ads or on my posts and say, whole life insurance is a bad investment. No shysta. It's not an investment, people. Stop comparing the two. If you understand what you were talking about, you wouldn't even make the concept, or make the comment. But because you don't understand what you're talking about, there you go, making comments, sounding like an idiot. Okay? But let's remember where this started. And that was with R. Nelson Nash. And so many people say, well, why do you have to go to a certified practitioner? Why do I have to go to somebody that belongs to the Nelson Nash Institute? Because Nelson has chapters in his books that say no universal life, no variable life. He didn't write it. Nelson was selling insurance when universal life started. He was selling insurance when variable life started. He was alive when indexed UL began. They are not whole life insurance. They have costs associated to you coming out of pocket. Do you want to pay those costs? A lot of those costs are not in whole life. And these agents selling it do not understand that. The problem started when people that went to Nelson Nash, they learned the concept from Nelson, and then they renamed it and they used incorrect products because they are chasing rates of return. It is not about a rate of return. Nelson says that in the introduction of his book. The very first page, Nelson says this is not about a rate of return. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not a sales tool for financial advisors. He has a whole bunch, he has like 8 things in the introduction of his book that this is not. If you want to understand cash value life insurance and you want to use it for financing of things, you want to use it for retirement later on, you need to understand what you're doing. And why would you go to anybody else except the guy that created the concept? Go to his book and learn the concept. Why? Why would you believe somebody that has not read the book? The young lady that I stitch blocked me. I'm not offended by that. What that tells me is she has the arrival syndrome, but she doesn't even know that because she's never read the book. She's never dug into more information. I was very nice in my stitch, and I was hoping that she would take that information and actually read the book and dig into it and educate herself. That did not happen. Instead, she blocks me and says, you know what? I know it all. And I'm chasing a rate of return. And these policies do not survive. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of people without life insurance close to passing. Or they're going to say, you know what, this didn't work like you told me to, so all life insurance is bad. This is exactly why life insurance is in the position it's in. Because when universal life started, it didn't work. Now you have people that are 70, 80 years old that bought that stuff, and it's collapsing. And then they put this mark on life insurance that it's all bad. It's not bad when you use the right product and you understand what you're doing. So social media is wonderful. It has allowed me to reach all of you and say, hey, you know what? This is great. I'm on to educate you. And I am happy to do that. But we have to discern the good from the bad, which means we have to do a little bit of our own research at times, right? If you come to me and you don't want to research, if you don't want to read anything, I'm not going to meet with you because I want you reading the book, which is essentially research, right? I want you reading Nelson's book. I want you reading my books. The more you read, the more you're educated. And then when you talk to somebody that says, oh my gosh, whole life insurance is the worst thing ever. The infinite banking concept, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Is it? Have they read the book? Have they done their research? Have they listened to podcasts? Have they listened to videos? If they've not done any of that stuff, why are you taking advice from somebody like that? Right? We all know that Mary Jo could lose a little weight. Are you really going to take advice from me on diet plans? Probably not, right? I'm not the most fit individual out there. Who are you going to take advice from? I am not going to take advice from people that aren't wealthy. I'm going to take advice from people that are wealthy. Why do we all look at the Rockefellers to see what they've done? Why do we all look at what Robert Kiyosaki is doing? Why aren't we looking at the banks to see what they're doing? Why don't we go to the founder of the Concepts book and read that to be educated on the infinite banking concept? Why don't we read that? Go to the source instead of just believing some person on TikTok, some person on Facebook, on Instagram. People get really mad when I say, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you unless you read the book. Oh, you just want to make $20, right? No, I don't want to make $20. I don't make any money because I advertise. I'm losing money thanks to social media there. It's not about that. It's about educating yourself. If you can't put the time in to listen to my audiobook, to read my book, or to read Nelson's book, why should I give you 10 hours to teach you this concept and you feel like I'm selling you something? No. It takes, and I had somebody read my book in an hour and a half. My Life Without the Bank book, she read it in an hour and a half. Most people, 2 to 3 hours. Nelson's book, 3 hours. Why? Why not just go to the source and read it so that you understand? You know, the young lady that read my book 2 weeks ago in an hour and a half, she's like, Mary Jo, everybody needs to know about this. Why don't we know about this? Why wasn't I taught this in school? How come I didn't know? Because you didn't care until now, number one, right? Because I've known you forever and you didn't care until now. But we have to pay attention to it. And there's so much noise, as Nelson called it. Sometimes it's really, really hard to discern what's real and what's not. And you can do nothing from paralysis of just digging. So eventually you do have to trust a little bit, but it's not hard to discern right from wrong. When you look at what's happening in a universal and a variable and an indexed versus whole life. Once you understand that, and you don't need to be an insurance agent to do that. Once you understand that, it's pretty clear, cut, and dry. This is not about a rate of return. Find yourself a good coach and it will work. So when you're out there, the moral of this entire podcast, I could have summed up in about 3 seconds, but the moral of this entire podcast is when you're out on social media, don't believe absolutely everything that you hear. Do your homework. When you are talking to friends or family or aunts or uncles, and you're talking about this infinite banking concept that you've learned about, and they tell you that you're wrong, remember, they didn't do any research. They've not looked at it. Did they have the right kind of policy? Oh, we did that. The policy was bad. Was it whole life? You know how many people tell me it was whole life? We have whole life. Very rarely do they actually have whole life. They have universal or variable, but it was sold to them as whole life. Yes, this happens. So make sure that you are doing your homework. Make sure that you're not just biting at the very first thing that you see. There are lots and lots and lots of good articles out there about the difference between universal, variable, and indexed and whole life and why that is. And as always, if you guys have questions, let me know. Email me, maryjo@withoutthebank.com. I am absolutely thrilled to help you. Thrilled to answer your questions. Just email me and you will get a response back. Yes, you will. So I hope that helped. I hope that made you think a little bit. It wasn't so much about infinite banking today and all that good stuff, but it is about what you come across when you are looking this up. So if you have questions, let me know. If you are challenging an agent and they are mad, this just happened 2 days ago. A lady that just found out about me challenged her agent and he is not even responding to her. If you are challenging your agent and they are not responding, or they bring a group of 4 people in, oh my goodness gracious. I talked to a guy yesterday. He has his agent along with 3 people, high pressure sales because he's a high net worth individual. Seriously? We just sat across the table from each other. I don't need anybody from home office to be there. Why? Why? Let's just have a conversation. I'm not selling you anything. I'm teaching you something. So let me know if you guys need anything. If you've not gotten my Life Without the Bank book yet, or Nelson's book, Becoming Your Own Banker, please do that. I have them as a bundle. My book is on audio. You can also get that. You can go to Nelson's website, infinitebanking.org, and you can get his book on audio as well. I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't recommend the audiobooks. I do not. If you're going to buy the audiobooks, get the actual book and read it. Because those of you that are coming to see me that have listened to the audiobook, you are not comprehending the concept like you should. I can completely tell when somebody has listened to the audio one time and scheduled their appointment, they have a lot of questions that were answered in the book. So please get the hardcover as well as the audio and read them both. And then let me know if you want to schedule an appointment. And it's free, an hour and a half free consultation. Then we get to decide, what do you want to do? Is this going to be a fit for you? Are we a fit together? I'd be happy to meet with you. So let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And I look forward to hearing from you.